two city scheduling, what we are discussing about, what is that? A company is planning to interview 2n person, okay, 2n people, given the array of cost I. You're given an array which is of cost. What is the cost here? They mentioned here is travel cost to interview each and every person. If you want to interview a ith person, what they have mentioned is the cost may will have two possible cost. One is A of cost of I and other is B of cost of I. The cost of flying the ith person to a city A is A of cost of I. The cost of flying the ith person to the city B is B cost of I. So for ith person, they are given two cost. One is like A cost of I and B cost of I. What is our task they are given us? We are supposed to return the minimum cost to fly every person to a city, that is exactly n people arrive in each city. We are supposed to interview 2n people, right? So n people has to be interviewed with the minimum cost. So the condition what they are given is minimum cost. So we have seen about the directed and undirected graph. So like what is the minimum cost to traverse the entire graph we have seen, right? The same logic can make use of it here. So here they are given like an array, and this is of I value 0th person, first person, second person, and third person. So here they are given as A cost. The first parameter is A cost and next parameter is B cost. The same way they are given here for all the scenarios. Okay, so what is that we are supposed to find? Minimum cost to reach each and every person. So the minimum cost, how do you find out? For the ith person, what is the minimum cost? For 0th person, what is the minimum cost? It is all about 10. The same way for the next ith person, the minimum cost is 30. For the next ith person, the minimum cost is 50. And for the next ith person, the minimum cost is 20. Summation of these value gives you 110. This is all about the scenario what they are given. I believe people are following me. Till this, you're clear, right? And followed by it, they are given a condition that whatever the code we are writing has to be fit inside certain function. So what is the function they are given here is int two cities schedule cost and followed by the cost. What is the cost? What type of array it is? It is a two-dimensional array. They mention here and followed by the cost size and followed by the column size. Okay, what is the task I have given you? Try to fit the logic inside this. Okay, this logic what I explained you can check with other two examples also. For here they're given here, right, the cost of it. You can take the minimum cost for each and every ith person and you can do summation of it. You'll be getting this as your output. Logic is very easy, like traversing the complete array and taking the minimum cost for each and every travel. Okay, so here what is it you're supposed to concern us? How to deal with this two-dimensional array by passing inside a function. And you're supposed to return the overall cost of it. The minimum cost has to be returned back to your main. Try to complete this code. By call size. So just whenever you're dealing with your two-dimensional array, you should know how to pass the parameter and follow. So what happened? Why is it question mark, Surya? I didn't understand. So whatever the value I'm passing here, I'm receiving here. First one is cost size and followed by the column size and followed by the cost and followed by the parameters. Okay. So here we are going to iterate it. Since it's a two-dimensional array, we'll be having two iterator like I, J. And here since we are going to do the summation of the cost, so let me declare one variable called sum and let it be 0 initially. So this is done. And we are supposed to iterate for I starts with 0, I less than until the number of persons, right? So 0th person, first person, second person, third person, you're going to have an iteration here. This is all about the cost size. So we'll be iterating till the cost size. So don't confuse with the variable name, guys, here. Okay. So then followed by for j assign 0, and here we'll see the condition of it, j plus plus. So here what is that? We are supposed to have 4%. For each and every person, how many what are the possible ways? We are going to have only 2 possible ways. Here if you are going to take this one and we are going to take this one, so instead of iterating one by one, we are going to compare parallelly. So for comparing parallelly, what is that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this value will be, so this value will be 0th position, right? This is the 0th element, first element, second, third person. So what is the position of this one? This could be 0, 0, and this could be 0, 1. So here in one iteration, I'm taking the 2 values. What is it we're going to do inside here is, so I'm going to iterate to the 0th person and I'm going to take these 2 values and compare it. This is what I'm going to do here. So here 0th person is taken and here I'm going to compare this particular column. So we know that there is only 2 possible options. So it is sufficient to iterate only once. If at all you, even though you have a 2 possible option, I'm going to iterate only once, since I'm going to increment my j value and I'm going to work on it. Okay, let me write here. If again I'll explain one more time. Listen here. So I'm going to mention j less than column size minus 1. So column size could be 2, right? Here I'm passing this particular cost sizes. Just a minute, guys. So here the cost size passed, whatever it is passed is 4 and column size is 2, right? So what I'm stating here is I'll go to this particular person, I'll iterate only once. So I'm going to take this element and this element, I'm going to compare it. Okay, instead of writing multiple loops again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to iterate only once and I'm going to compare it like, so I'm going to mention if, what is the array name we have mentioned here? The array name is cost. If cost of ij. And what is this one? Now right now I value is 0, j value is 0, right? So the next element is 1, 1. I should compare 0, 0 element with 0, 1 element, right? These 2 elements has to be compared. So here what is it I'm going to mention here is whether this value is greater than costs of I j plus 1. Is that clear? I'm taking these 2 values and comparing it. So that is the reason I'm mentioning column size minus 1. So these 2 values, this is 0, right? I is row and j is your column. So how many columns you're going to have? You're going to have only 2 columns, right? I'm comparing these 2 values. Standing at the 0th position, I'm taking 0 and 1. Guys, you're with me? Okay, just a minute, just a minute. Few people are asking, Dot, what is that? J should be 0. Yes, J is 0. So this is here, this is jth position is 0 here, jth position is 1. Jth position is 0, jth position is 1. Okay, only I value is going to be varied here. So if you're mentioning just column size alone, what happened here? It will go to index out of range. This will be iterated twice. So I don't want it to go for index out of range. I'll iterate only once. I'll take first and second value. Again, I'll move my point to the next ith position. I'm going to take first and second value. Is it clear? Okay, fine. Okay, this is done. And followed by it, what we are supposed to do? We are supposed to just take the minimum value alone. No need of storing anywhere. Nothing is done. No need of rearranging. Nothing has to be done. Just calculate it. That's it, right? So just we can mention sum plus assign. Okay, sum plus assign this value. The minimum value. This is done. Else. Sum plus assign cost of ij. Is this clear? Sagiti, you told that only one loop, right? Nested loop. For J condition, J termination condition, you need it, right? So for that. Or even if you don't want it, if you don't want to make use of column, you can just make use of J. And here you can just iterate it. You have to change the step here. If you want to optimize as order of n, you are supposed to modify the logic here. Okay, let me execute by using n square. And later on, if you wanted, you can just modify it and you can let me know. Okay, listen here, we can just continue with the flow. So is this clear? I'm taking these two values. A very simple logic, guys. I didn't take any complex logic at all. Very simple. I'm just moving on to this particular first subarray, and I'm taking this particular, these two elements, I'm comparing, and I'm taking the minimum value, adding to the sum. This process has to be done till cost to size. So till the four values, I'm going to do the summation of minimum value in each and every subarrays. Okay, at the end, we are supposed to return our sum. Is this clear? Come on. So what is missing here? Something error is showing. Just give me a minute. Let us see what is that. What happened here? What is the error? Incompatibility. What's the mistake we made here? Okay. Let me give the size as of now, 42. So here we are returning something, right? We are supposed to print it. So let me receive here and we'll print like optimal cost. So optimal cost could be the sum of it. Okay, we are supposed to declare it. We didn't declare it. The sum value. So for this question, what is the output we got it? As per the scenario, in the question we got the answer as 110 should be displayed as the output, right? So you can notice that it is displaying optimal cost is 110. We got the solution for it, right? So here, as you say, if you don't want to include this particular line, if you want to avoid this one, you can do one more thing. You can just declare your J value to 0 here alone. So no need of worrying about your column value. Okay, since your column is going to have only one iteration, is not required. Here, even your operation will be time complexity could be reduced. Somehow, if you're going to execute it, your output is same. So you're going to get only the same output. So if you don't want to iterate it for column wise, you can just optimize by in a single line like this. This else part you want to explain it. Okay, I'll explain ma. Okay, listen here. It is all about what is that you're going to take is. First, we are going to take this particular value, 10 and 20. So you're going to take I value here. First is I value is 0, J value is 0. So 0, 0 value will be taken and followed by here 0, 1 value will be taken. So what is it I'm doing here? 0, 0, which is 10 greater than 20. I'm taking this value. If this condition is true, okay, if this condition is true, then what is it I'm doing? Which value could be lesser? This value could be lesser. If this condition is false, if this condition is true, this could be lesser. If this condition is false, 10 could be lesser. So the value at 0, 0th position, I'm just doing summation of it. Okay, good. Guys, all the test cases will be working through. I'll just share you the code. You can just check on it. Is that fine? Is this clear for everyone? The same logic. Logic is not going to change for test cases. For all the test cases, it's going to work. Sagiti has a doubt. Will it work for other test cases? Yes, Sagiti, it will work. You can just take this test case and you work on it. It is very simple, but what happened? You're supposed to change your number of rows. Cost size has to be changed. Okay. I'll share this code, guys. Meanwhile, you can just have a glance of it. It is very simple, right? Okay, I've shared the code. You can make use of it. Just give me a minute. Meanwhile, I'll take the next question, guys. Yeah, next question is something interesting. Just a minute. Do you want the previous question? Just if you really want this one, I'll share this also in your chat box. You can make use of it. Those who want the previous question also, the test cases also, I'll just share in the chat box. Okay, the previous question is also shared. Okay, fine. Listen here. The next question is all about rotate function. We came across different function like string rotation, all those things, right? The same thing here. It is all about rotating your integer array. Okay, I'm doing manipulation with it. Just try to read the statement, what they're given here. You are given an integer array nums of length n. Assume array k to be an array obtained by rotating nums by k position clockwise. We define the rotation function f on nums as follow. So here they're mentioning that how we are going to rotate the array. Okay, the array has to be rotated, and what is that we are supposed to find the maximum possible value that can be formed by using this rotation. Okay, let me repeat it again. So we are going to take an integer array, we are going to rotate it. Okay, we are going to rotate it. During a rotation, we are supposed to display the maximum possible combination. Okay, let me take this in an Excel and I'll explain you this process, guys. Okay, just give me a minute. So this is the array value, what they have mentioned here. Just a minute. So as per the given scenario, this is the array. What is that they mention is we are supposed to rotate this array and we are supposed to find the possible combination which gives the maximum value. So if you're going to rotate the array, what are the possible combination? And during your first initialization, just let me do one thing. Let me write it as an array format. 4, 3, 2, 6. This is the array. This is a given array. Okay, so let us write the index position of it. So index position of this array could be like 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so here what is that they are doing is during this particular operation, they are mentioning this, we are supposed to multiply with the index position. The values are multiplied with the index position, like 0 into 4 gives you 0, 1 into 3 gives you 3, and 2 into 2 gives you 4, and 6 into 3 gives you 18, right? So this is done here and followed by the summation of it. We are supposed to do the summation of these values. These values summation has to be done. So, and we are supposed to store it separately here. The summation of this has been stored as 25. Keep it aside. Okay, this is one calculated result. And followed by it, what is that they are saying is we are supposed to rotate it. So rotate in the sense what they are doing here is they are going to rotate it like the same array 6, 4, 3, 2. Okay, the index position could be the same. We had a double index position, right? It is same. So again, 6 into 0, 4 into 1, 3 into 2, okay, and 3 into 2. So this is done summation of this. Okay, it has to be stored separately. It is all about 16. So do this process again. So again, the rotation is we are supposed to do here. Rotation here is done here, right? Now it is all about 2, 6, 4, 3. I believe people got the logic behind it, right? So 1, 3 is 3 and 4 2s are 8, followed by 3 3s are 9, and followed by the summation of this. Summation of this gives you 20, isn't it? Store it separately. It's 6. Where do we made mistake, ma? Yeah, right only, right? Every 0466. Yeah, here, this one. This is 6. Yes, yes, it is 6. Yes, yes, you're right. Yeah, you're right. We made a mistake. Yes, ma, yes. I got it. Yeah. So during writing, we made a mistake here. So it is all about we'll be getting 23. Okay. Followed by it. Again, rotation. So we'll be getting 3, 4, 3. Am I right? Okay. So now 3, 2, 6, 4. This is the next rotation. So followed by it, we'll be getting 0, 2, 12. Just give me a minute, guys. Just a minute. People are pinging the chat box. Okay, just I'm looking at there and here. Okay, fine. Followed by 12. So when you're doing summation of this, we'll be getting 26 as the answer. Okay, so it is all about we are going to rotate this particular integer array for all the possible combination. Okay, rotation is mentioned in the array with all the possible combination. Okay, and what is it we are supposed to take? We are supposed to take the maximum value which can be formed with the combination. Harshita, good question here. Will the rotation be mentioned? So this rotation will be given with the explanation like this. So they'll be explaining one question with the example. We'll have few more example test cases. One of the test case will be explained like this. Okay, by looking at this, you can able to understand which type of rotation they are mentioned here, either left rotation or right rotation. So what is our task? Our task is to give the maximum possible combination. Is this question clear for everyone? If you have any doubt on it, you can let me know. So here for this function name, what is that we can mention? Int or rotate function. This is a function name followed by int star of nums followed by int len. So try to fit your code inside this function, guys. You want to repeat it? Okay, no issues. I'll repeat it again. Listen carefully, guys. Those who want to repeat it. So this is your given array. The original array is given. So original array can be of any size. So first, what is that we are doing is we are supposed to calculate the value for the given size. As per the given question, what is that what is that they are doing is they are just multiplying the value of the index with the concerned position value, like 0 into 4, 1 into 3, 2 into 2, and 3 into 6. Okay, this is what they are doing it. So they're multiplying it and they'll be getting some values and they are doing summation of it. Okay, this is the process done. So as for the given question, what is that we are supposed to do? We are supposed to rotate the integer array in all the possible combination. Okay, here After this, we'll be doing the next rotation. The next rotation is all about it. This is all about your left rotation, guys. You're going to rotate towards the left side. So here, what is it they are doing is they are taking this particular value. And if you're doing one rotation, like if the value is written like 4, 3, 2, 6. If they are doing one rotation, what happens? This 6 comes here. Okay, so this is what they mentioned here. 6 comes here for one rotation, followed by 4, 3, 2. Okay, for the next rotation, what happens? For here you can notice that 4, 3, 2 could be the next value, and for the next rotation 2 comes to the first value. This is happening here. You can notice that for one rotation 6 comes here and the remaining values remain same. Again from this one, again we are doing one more rotation. Again 2, 6, 4, 3. So like this we are going to rotate for all the possible combination. So during a rotation, what happens? This particular value at the last index comes to the first index. Okay, it comes to the first index, and just we are multiplying with the index value. 0 into 6, 1 into 4, 2 into 3, and 3 into 2. Is it clear now? Okay, fine. At the end, we are supposed to give only the maximum value. What is that we found by using combination? So we can have a number array like 4, 3, what they mentioned, 2, 6, right? This is a number array which they mentioned here. So as of now, let me keep the size directly. Okay, like 4. So let us mention printf percentile d followed by the function call. So during a function call, let me pass our number array followed by n value. These things are passed. Now let us go ahead with the implementation of it. Okay, listen carefully. Here I will see about the logic of rotation. Okay, how to rotate a string. So here, let me do one thing. Let me declare the iterator variable called I, and we'll have a while loop. While I less than a n value. Okay, while loop or for loop is completely up to you guys. Here I'm using while loop. Here what is that I can do is I'm going to use one more loop here like for. So let me declare one more variable called j for my iteration. So j. So here what is that I can do is I can make use of this n value directly, or I can do one thing. I can declare one more variable called k. It is completely up to us. Okay, I'll declare what happened. Semicolon here j. Here. Surya, where it is? Yes, it's done, right? Okay. Okay, listen here, guys. Okay. Okay. So let me declare one more variable called k. So this is for my iteration. So here I'm going to iterate this array, right? The array is actually of length n minus 1, which is from 0 to 3. So I need an actual size here. So let me take my k value as n minus 1. So since we have an array size as 4, I'm having a value from 0, 1, 2 and 3. So since that's the reason, I'm taking my k value as n minus 1. Okay. And here let me start k as j assign k. Okay, j assign k. And followed by, so let me leave it as such now. I'll let you know what is that we are going to do here. So here, what is the operation you're going to do here? We are supposed to do the product of it. You're supposed to do the product and you're going to store the result, right? So let me declare some variable called sum, and I'll do one thing. I'll have one counter variable. So why is this counter variable is? So how many combination this particular variable, this particular iteration, this particular array is going to have? So this particular array is going to have how many combination? Those many number combination. If at all the number of elements in an array is 4, it is going to have 4 combination, right? So I should have a control of this termination of this loop. So for this, I'm just declaring one more variable called count. So if required, I can reduce this, guys. So here as of now, let me writing elaborately here. If required later on, we can just optimize it. Okay. So here I'll declare one more variable called count. So here, what is that I'm going to do is I'm going to have count value as initial value as 0. So what is the initial value of count for each and every combination? Our count value is going to be 0 initially. Okay, so this loop is going to be executed until my count value less than my n value. So why is this counter I'm using? Those many combination I'm going to use it. We are going to have 4 values. Okay, so for the 4 iteration, I'm going to use it. So count is going to be incremented for each and every iteration. This is done. And here inside this, what is that we are going to do here? So you're going to do summation of the calculation. What is that we are supposed to do the summation of it? We are supposed to multiply the index value, isn't it? What is that we are multiplying? This index value with the value inside this array. Sorry, here this index value with the value inside it. This is a process has to be done continuously for the summation. Okay, this is what I'm doing, right? So here I made this value as I made this value as an array, right? This is the array. So we can access these element as an array. Now we should concern about how to access this index position. So since I've mentioned my I value as my number of iteration and j value, I've just started with my k value. I'm going to declare one more variable called like m, and let your m value be 0. This is for your manipulation. Manipulation, this is the multiplication operation I'm going to do it, right? So the index value is dealt with m into a array. Okay, array of j. Okay, so this j is not going to start always with the 0th position. The first time it is going to start with 0th position, and next time, as I told you, it is going to start here, and next time it will start here. So what are the combination as we state? So we'll have a combination like, okay, listen here. So this are supposed to be altered. Don't be confused here. So let me repeat the possible combination, how the combination is going to be taken. Okay, this is how the combination will be taken, right? So first 0 to 2, again first, sorry guys, here just a minute. I written a reverse combination, sorry for it. So followed by again 3, 0, 1, 2. Okay, this is going to be there. Again, the second portion, third portion, 0th portion, first portion. This is how the combination is going to be, right? Somehow your j pointer is not going to start always with 0. So here, what is that I'm going to mention here is, I'm going to mention here in our j loop, our j loop is going to start with k minus I value. Guys, you are with me? So k minus I value, initially what is our k value? Our k value is n minus 1, which is 3. So what happens? Where does our iteration start? Our iteration is going to start from the third index position. Okay, so it is going to start from the third index position till how many times it is going to execute it? Till 4 times. Okay, for each and every, here what is that J value will be? First it should be 3. I'm starting with this combination, guys. Okay, you can start with any combination, but as a whole I should have four set of operations. So what happens here? First 3 0 1 2 has to be multiplied. So for that, what is that I'm doing? Array of J. So I'm just taking this third position value, I'm just multiplying with the index position M. What is M here? M is all about 0. So now just give me a minute. So let me mention post increment here, which is after this operation, what is that I'm going to do? I'm going to increment it. So sum also has to be resetted for each and every row calculation. Followed by it, one more important step we should concern about it. So what is that? I'll let you know. Listen carefully, guys. Here, as I state, so here I'm taking this third value. So what happens here? Your J value, just give me a minute. Let me bring this code here for your better understanding. Give me a minute alone. So where is that? Here. Just a minute now. So listen here. What is the K value right now? Your K value is 3. Okay. So here what is that we are doing is your J value starts with 3 minus 1. So 3 minus 0. Yeah, I value is 0 initially. Yeah, I is 0. Okay, I value is 0. Just assume that we are initializing it. So 3 minus 0. So what happens here is a M value remains 0 initially. Okay. So here what is that you are doing is 0 into, okay, 0 product of array of J plus plus. Just I'm doing post incremented. Okay, so array of J, what is our J value now? J value is third value, right? So third position value, the value in third position is 6. It will be multiplied. So after that, your J value will be incremented. If at all, if this plus plus is confusing for you, no worries. You can just remove this plus plus and J plus plus and you can put here. If this J plus plus is confusing, okay, you can remove this plus plus. It is all about post increment. Okay, just I'm taking the third position value, I'm multiplying here. This is what happens. After this, what should I do? Where should my pointer should go? My pointer should go to the 0th position. So for that, how can we have a cyclic shift? This is the logic for cyclic shift. Okay, here for this we are supposed to do cyclic shift here. How it can be done? After this, my pointer has to be moved to the first position. So 0th position. So for that, you are supposed to update your J loop. So what is your J loop as of now? The previous step, your J loop is 3. After incrementing, it could be 4, right? 4 modulo by length of it, length of your original array. You're with me, guys? 4 modulo by length of your original array gives you 0. So what happens for the next iteration, your J value could be 0. So what happens here is, it could be like, okay, it could be like 0 minus 0. So 0 minus 0, sorry, 0. Sorry, yeah, condition, sorry, initialization never happens. Sorry for it. Initialization is never going to happen. Just give me a minute. So you're going to have a condition that will come directly inside. So what happened? M value might have become 1. So just imagine J value is incremented and M value is also incremented. Your M value becomes 1 and your J value. What is the J value right now? It is reassigned with 4 modulo by length of it. So what is the value here? We'll be getting 0. So value in the 0th position will be fetched. It is like 4. Guys, can you able to understand this logic, what I'm stating here? Just this particular element, I'm speaking about the cyclic rotation. So here at this place, what is that we are doing is, we are doing cyclic rotation just by mentioning J assigned J modulo by length of it. Okay, length is N. J modulo by length of it. So after doing each and every operation, what is that you're supposed to? You're supposed to increment your J value and your M value. Can you able to understand this logic? This is very important for your cyclic shift. So like if you have like 0th index, first index, second index and third index. So after this, if you want to make a rotation to the first index, what is that you can do is 4 divided modulo by length of the particular array gives you 0 again. Okay, again 5 modulo by 4 gives you 1 again. This is a logic for your rotation, which means that's the shifting rotation of your string. So you can have those, you can have again those many rotations. Can you able to understand this logic? Okay, let me complete, let me execute it and show you what happens here. So here, meanwhile, what is that we are supposed to do in each and every iteration? We are supposed to check for a maximum value, right? So we'll be declaring some value variable called max. So guys, I'm just teaching you the common logic, very common logic for your rotation. So you people are just speaking about only one rotation, right? So this particular rotation logic will be same for your string rotation or whatever rotation. This is the rotation logic behind it. This is what I'm keep on expecting from you people. If you write statically like rotation, like one rotation or two rotation, it will be fitting for one or two programs alone. This is the common logic for a rotation. Okay, so let me have one variable called max, and for each and every iteration, what is it I'll do is if my max value is less than my sum value, I'll update my max value. Max value is updated with a sum value and followed by, so actually this code has to be placed inside and followed by I++. The logic is completed, guys. At the end, we are supposed to return the maximum value in it. So here, let me repeat what is it I'm doing here is, this is for your those many combinations. For how many combinations you're going to have? The 4 combinations, right? So if it is the length of it, I'll have a 4 combination. And in this loop, what I'm doing is, I can start at any point of a string. If it is a given one, so I can start at any point of a given string, but somehow I should have a 4 rotation. Is it clear? I can start with any point. Here in this particular scenario, I'm starting with this particular point, but I should have a 4 iteration. Okay, and this particular next time what I'm doing is I'm starting with 2. Again, I'll have a 4 iteration. This particular for loop is for 4 iteration. The 4 iteration has to be done. Okay. Guys, can you able to understand or you want me to explain again? Somewhere did we miss any logic? Just give me a minute. Let me check it once. Again, okay, I'll explain it. Okay. Just so let me repeat it. So we'll take the same values, guys. We'll write aside. I'll write the step. I'll write the step-by-step process here. Listen here. So here we are going to take a value like 4, 4, 3, 2, 6. This is the value I have taken. So let me keep it here. Fine. So what are the variables we are going to use? We are going to use k value. K value is n minus 1. What is the n value here? So just give me a minute, guys, else I'll move this particular logic to Excel. Okay, it'll be easy for me to do it step by step. Here, what happened if I'm writing here? If you want to do some alteration, what happened? The entire code will be erasing. Just give me a minute. We'll go here.
We'll just remove this. We'll paste this one. We'll paste this logic here. Okay, fine. Listen here. So here we know that our array, this is our array and our n value is 4. So what are the elements we are initializing? We are making use of one variable called k. Okay, we're making use of one variable called k. A k value is n minus 1. This is all about 3. And you're going to have some value. That is what we are going to calculate it. And you're going to find maximum value for each and every iteration coming here. This particular I loop is for executing these many times. So this is for first, second iteration, third iteration, fourth iteration, right? So this outer loop is for mentioning number of times. So number of execution. This particular number of execution is tracked by using this I loop. Just coming here, just we are going to have a counter. Why is this counter? I told you, right? So here I may start from any position. So I may start from 3. So I should check that I'm just iterating the number of elements times. So that is the reason I'm having one counter. And this m loop is for taking a values from multiplying with the concerned index position. We are supposed to multiply with the concerned index position, right? So wherever the pointer might be, you might take for the second position or third position, wherever it is. The starting point is multiplied with the m value. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So you can just iterate from 2 to 3 again with, you can start with 2, 3, again you can go here. So whatever it is multiplied with the m value. The m value is initially 0 and this will be incremented for each and every step. Somehow what happened, our whatever the requirement is achieved, right? So we are not depending upon the internal index position. We are just multiplying with one counter value. Initially counter value is 0, just keep on multiplying. So for that is the purpose I'm using one counter value, one one variable called m for multiplying the index position. And this counter value I'm using, if at all I have 4 values, I should multiply 4 times since my startup can be any position. So that is the reason I'm using counter value. This is the purpose of these two variables and followed by it coming inside here. So what is it I'm starting here? Yeah, j value is equals to k minus I value. So as of now, I value is 0. So what happened? My j value is k minus I value. So k minus 0 value. So k minus 0, it gives you 3 again. So it comes, it will check here, your counter value remains 0, 0 less than our n value 4. That is fine. So coming inside, what is that we are going to do is sum is going to be assigned with existing sum. We're going to just keep on add the previous value, right? Existing sum plus m value. What is the m here? M is all about the index quotient. This is our quotient. So you're supposed to multiply each and every time with our index quotient. This is what they stated here. So index quotient of the first value could be 0 into here array of j plus plus. So what is this j plus plus? Either if you wanted, you can place in separate line also, guys, like j plus plus. I don't want to increase the number of lines. That is the reason I given as a post increment. So if you given post increment, what happens? The element at the jth position will be taken, it will be iterated and followed by a j value will be modified. So what happens here is, here it will take the array of jth position value. What is the jth position value? 3. So this manipulation will be happen. So 0 into value in the third position, what is that? 6. At the first iteration, 0 into, just let me show you the one iteration alone, guys, one complete iteration. So you'll be clear about it. So 0 into 6 will be calculated, it will become as 0. So let me remove this equal to. Okay, this will be done. And followed by it, what happened? Your j value will become as 4 since it is a post increment. And here, what is that I'm doing is j is equals to j. What is j now? It is 4 modulo by length of your array. So this is what I have stated you. It is all about cyclic rotation. So beyond the index, when I'm trying to divide it, again what happens? This particular will have a rotation like this. So if you're trying to go away from it, again it will come here when you're trying to do the modulo operation of it. So here what happens? Right now your j value will be updated to 0. Okay. Followed by it, what they are doing is they are going up and they are trying to increment here. Just a minute. Let me come to this side. So followed by it, what happened? We are trying to increment my counter and my m value. So what is our counter value will become as? Our counter value is already 0. Now it will become as 1, right? So 1 less than a n value 4. What is it, Surya? Modulo. It will do modulo operator. It is not division. It is all about modulo. Yes, for every value. Let me proceed with the two step, 1 or 2 step. You'll be clear. Okay, just give me a minute. Let me proceed it. So now what happened? Now what happened? Your counter value will become as 1. Already your counter value is 0. When I come here, your counter value become as 1. So and your m value, what is the m value will become as? And m value also will become as 1. Here our m value is 0, which is nothing but 0th index. So 1 less than 4, it is done. So which means that one iteration is completed. Now again what happened? It will come here. The previous sum value plus, okay, previous sum value plus m. What is our m here? Our m is 1. 1 into array of j value. What is the j value right now? It is 0th index position. So previously what we did, we took the elements at the 3rd index position. After this, our rotation is started. It's starting with the 0th index position where 4 is taken now. So array of 0th index position. Just a minute. So array of 0th index question. Guys, since I'm just spending this much time for this question is, you'll be getting many questions based on this logic, the rotation. So like diffusing a bomb, all those things. By tomorrow, if time permits, we'll see the interesting question. One more question is also there, like diffusing bomb by using a key. There also you'll be using cyclic shift. So this logic is very much important, guys. Listen here. So what happened? Now array of 0th position value will be taken here. Okay, this could be calculated. So array of 0th position value, the existing sum is 0 plus. So what is that? 1 into 0th position value is, here we'll be getting 3, right? 3 or 4. So you'll be getting 4. 1 into 4, you'll be getting 4 as a value. So 0 plus 4 will be done. Okay. For the next iteration, what is it going to happen is j value equals to, so after this, what is your j value? This is all about post increment, right? So previous value is 4. Previous value is, what is the previous value of j? Just a minute, somewhere we stuck. J plus plus, right? So it is all about, now we got the value 0. Now it will become as 1. Okay. Now what happened? J assign 1 modulo by, what is the n value? 4. So any value which is less than, again we'll get the same number, we'll get j value as 1. Okay, again the value from the first index will be how it is 1. Here, look at here. So what is the j value here? When it is coming here, what is the j value? What is the j value when it is coming here? It is 0, right? How it is 1? 0, yes, it is 0. After this iteration, it is all about post increment. It will become as 1 again. Okay, fine. So what happened? The same process is going to be continued until when it is going to continue? Until 3 less than 4. Until the value 3 is less than 4, it will be continued. Okay. Once it comes 4 less than 4, the loop is going to break. So what happens here? Somehow our rotation is achieved. All the value is multiplied with the concerned index position. That is done. Followed by it, what I'm supposed to do? I'm supposed to store the particular value as a maximum value. Again, continue my iteration. So again, at the next step, what happened? K minus I. So what is your K value? Your K value is same. Your K value is 3. What is your I value? Your I value might have incremented. So it became as 1. So right now the iteration will start from the second index position. First it started with third index position. So K minus I, it will start with your second index position. And next time it will start with your first index position. So what is that I'm doing is each and every time I'm going to start with the minus k minus I times is my starting point. So first time I'll start my iteration here. Okay, second time I'll start my iteration here. Next time I'll start my iteration here. Wherever I start, I'm going to iterate n times. This is my logic behind it. The important role played here is this is a person who plays important role for my cyclic shift. Is this clear? So there is a logic for it. So only for this variable initialization, it takes multiple lines. Apart from those, when you see this code, your logic is hardly of this 4 lines is your logic. Okay, fine. I believe everyone is clear, right? Shall we move on to next one? Okay, I'll paste this code, guys. So I'll give you one more question based on similar logic. Okay, the same logic. Not as rotation, but based on string like this. You're supposed to deal with a string with multiple operations. What is that I can give you this? Just give me a minute. Let me pick the question. So instead of explaining orally, it will be easy for you to have a glance of it. Just a minute, guys. Just a minute. You won't break. Okay, guys. Here is our next question. We'll start our next question. Charlie has a magic mirror. The mirror shows right rotated version of a given word. So this is also based on rotation. As I said, I'm going to give you the similar task. This particular mirror is going to show you the right rotated version of a word to generate different right rotation of a word. Write the word in a circle in clockwise order, then start reading from any reading from any given character in clockwise order till you have covered all the character. As I said now for the earlier question. So what is that? We are supposed to start from any position of a given string. I should cover all the character. So for example, word sample, if we start with P, we get right rotated like PLE-SAM. There are 6 such right rotated version of sample. So when we take the word called sample, we'll be having like some possible rotation, right? So here, whatever they are saying here is, we'll take some example like sample. So as they're asking us to write this word in a cyclic form. And we are supposed to form the possible combination. And here, what is it we are supposed to return? He inputs to the function is same reflection. This is the function name, which consists of 2 string word1 and word2. The function returns 1 if word1 and word2 are right rotation of the same word. Okay, and -1 if they are not. Both the word1 and word2 will strictly contain a character between A to Z. So it is all about, we are going to have a 2 strings, and one string is your original string and other string is the mirror image of it. Got it? One string is the original string and other string is the mirror image of it. As per the given scenario, what is that? The mirror image can start with any position and will have a same number of characters. Okay, if it is a mirror image, it consists of all the words in right rotation format, then we are supposed to return 1 as the output. When it does not follow it, we are supposed to return -1 as the output. So let me explain in detail. So here, if you take this one as your given word 1. So what are the possible right rotation for this word? The possible right rotation is I can start with A, M, P, L, E followed by S. This is one possible combination. If I start with M, okay, followed by P, L, E followed by S, A. Same way, if I start with a location P, I'll have P, L, E followed by S, A, M. If I start with L, I'll have S, A, L, L, E, S, A, M, P. Okay, if I start with E, I'll have SAMPL. Okay, so this is a possible combination. Again, if you rotate it, what happens? You'll be getting the same word, right? So here this is all about, they'll be giving one more word called word 2. So it may have the same combination like LESAMP. If it gives like this, if your word 2 is like this, then we are supposed to return 1. If at all our word 2 is not following the proper order like ELSAMP, even though all the characters is there but it's not following the order, in those cases I'm supposed to give -1. The same way when your word 2 is not of equal length, for example like LESA, so when it is of not equal length also we are supposed to return -1. This is our question. So as per this given scenario, what is our function name? Our function name is same reflection is our function name, and this function is going to accept 2 parameter. One parameter is a word 1 and other parameter is word 2. Are you people clear with the question? So we are supposed to say whether word 2 is the mirror image of word 1. Is this question clear, guys? Do you have any doubt or you want me to repeat again? You can let me know. Clear, right? Okay, start doing. You can mention for I value starts with 0 and I less than your word length 1. Okay, let us assume that we have a word 1, word 2, right? So length 1 is your word length 1 length. Okay, you can assume that length L2 is the length of your word 2. So whenever it is required, you can make use of it. So what is that you can do here is you can just first check for the whether len 1 and len 2 is equal. Okay, the reason is since I added a condition here, when it is not equal length also we are supposed to return -1. So whenever it is not equal, then you're supposed to stop your process. You can return -1 immediately. Okay, this is your first condition followed by it. So when it is not equal, this is done. Followed by it, what you can do is you can start with your iteration and you can go till length of it. You can just have a iteration inside this. So as I state, you can just have a combination. Possible combination can be checked first. The possible combination is 6 combination. Till the length of it is a possible combination. So what is that you're supposed to take is you can have your J loop with I plus 1. Okay, and your J loop goes till length of your L1 and followed by J plus plus. So what is it going to happen now? So if sample is your original string, I'm going to start with from here. I'm going to take this one. So here I'm going to form a new string. A new string is formed here just by concatenating character by character to it. Okay. So character by character, it will be concatenating it. I'll form a for first iteration. Let me explain, guys. So I'll form ample. Okay. So coming out of it, I can have one more loop also. I can have one more loop also like k assign I. Okay. And a k loop can execute until it reaches z. So what does it mean is the remaining character. So if at all you're just taking this AMPLE, again from ith position, the remaining characters has to be taken, right? So that is has to be added to the end of a string. So followed by k plus plus. So now what's going to happen? Add this particular, the first part of it. So 1 to 5 is done is right. Add the remaining. So what's going to happen? Ample plus yes. Yeah, with me, guys. So first ample, for the first iteration alone, I'm explaining here what happened is you're supposed to take this part, iterated, you formed it, and the remaining part. So this is done. So at the end of it, try to when you're coming out of it, try to update your original array. The reason is, or you can just deal with the same array itself. The next time you can no need of updating. Two approaches there. One is updating, one is without updating. So without updating, I'll let you know. So now what happened? This one will be formed. Now you can check with it. You can check with it whether your new string. So before coming out of it, you can check here. Just a minute, ma. Here you can check whatever the new string you formed is equals to your word2. Okay, just by str compare. Str compare of your new string comma your word2. You can check with here. Okay, so if it is so, if your value is equal to 0, then you can stop your process. You can return 1 as your output. If it is not so, then what happens? This process will be continued again. So right now what happened? Your I value become 1. Okay, so what happens? Starting from your second portion, the remaining characters will be taken for the next iteration. For the next iteration, what happened? MPLE will be taken. And here what happened? Along with MPLE, SA will be added. Again, it will be checked. So how far it will be checked? This particular condition will be checked n times. N combination is there. This is going to be checked n times. This is one way. Is it clear for everyone? Just I given an approach alone how to do it. Just try to fit this inside this function. So this is a function they are given here. We are supposed to fit this logic inside a function. Is this logic clear for everyone? Do you have any doubt in it? Come on, respond me. Do you have any doubt in it? How to do it? So whatever I did here, this is clear for everyone. Just I given a skeleton alone here. So when to return -1 and when to return 1. So if it is not returning throughout the program 1, then what happened? Are coming out of it, we are supposed to return -1. So at the end, what happened? If the equal length of word is there, and but what happened? But it's not in a proper sequence or some other characters there, then also we're supposed to return -1, right? So here I'm returning -1 whenever my condition is not true. Is this clear for everyone?